What's up, guys? Today we're going over another video of Chibi Reviews. VTuber arrested for artwork of her model in the UK. Anyone? Okay, y'all already going probably some of y'all already gonna know what this is about. I ask that you hear me out on this. I'm gonna give my statement first, and we're gonna get into this video. I do not believe Loli should be illegal, and here's why. First, my first reason is freedom of expression and freedom of what is it called? Artistic freedom. That's I'm gonna count that as one reason. And my second is if say we ban, like you say, you get the US to ban lolly content, completely outlaw it, make it illegal. Well, it's not real. Just like video games aren't real. And then so people are these Karens are gonna start filing lawsuits and like reaching saying, well, video game you ban this, so like video games should fall into this as well. Like video games aren't real, but kids like imitate it, and like lolly isn't real, but we believe people are doing bad things because of lolly. They will, I'm just saying, it will be used as a stepping stone. If it is banned, made illegal, it will be used as a stepping stone to censor even more. It will start with lolly. It might move to anime, further like down that line to anime, or it might just straight skip anime and go straight for games. And then once it hits games, it's going to either turn back around, go back for anime, or it's going to start going for movies and series of content people don't like. And when I say people, I mean these Karens don't like. And we're just going to get further and further down this, like, censorship. Sorry, I got a puppy. She's a bit loud. And, I don't like it. It's a bad look. And I just don't like where we're going. I don't like lolly content. I don't. I wish it was done less in like series and all that. But I actually had a talk with a guy the other day, not like about the high school like trope, and he said something that actually made a whole lot of sense. He said like the reason people like Japanese people and all that use like the high school trope is because that was the prime time of their life. That was like the best time of their life. And I stopped saying, and I thought about it. I'm like, high school was the best time of my life too, actually. It felt amazing being in high school. And I miss it a lot. And I'm like, that's how I kind of understood. Part of me is like, I still wish they'd just say college, but then you also point out it wouldn't make sense. College, you got to worry about bills and shit like that. In high school, you're still being taken care of by your parents and stuff like that. You don't have bills, so like, there's no questions like how you paying the bills and all that. Technically, don't have to explain it or anything like that, but you see what I'm saying? Yes, there's things that could be done to make changes, but hey, it is what it is. I don't run the show, and as long as it's good, hey, I'm gonna watch it as long as it's good. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. But without further ado, let's get into this. I paused this at a bad time. I am sorry, Chibi. My man, let's get into this.
I wish I was joking with what I'm about to say, but a VTuber in the UK has been arrested for artwork of their VTubing model. They had their social media account stripped away.
I want to mention, in case he doesn't mention this, it is illegal in the UK to draw any character depicted underage. That is not a W law. That is just literally another law that takes away freedom of expression and freedom of speech. In the UK, I will say, is like going down the line of dictatorship. I mean, like the guy that they elected is literally named Keir Starmer. I'm like, that sounds like such a fucking dictator name. And then he's like making dictator moves and dictator actions. And I'm like, what can I really say? I'm like, it's fucked.
from them. It appears that they are now being forced to use their real name for their social media account, and now they've been released on bail, and
Oof.
if they were to draw anything outside of safe for work, they will go to prison. This is
That's pretty
legitimately the
fucked up.
very thing that I talked about over a year ago. This is a
Before you know it, America will
Shimonetta
do it.
world we're getting into. We are at that point now to where Shimonetta was not a parody of society. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a comedy. It was foreshadowing the future of society.
Oh
Foreshadowing
yeah.
that you have a government, the UK, that is more preoccupied for artists drawing artwork that isn't real. They're more preoccupied of that than dealing with, let's say, rape gangs, criminals on the street, and
Yep.
also allowing actual cousin incest marriage within the UK, by the way. But
I want to mention that shit's funny because they allow that, but you can't actually make a video of that. You can't for role play or anything like that. It's actually illegal, but you can actually just fuck your cousin and get them pregnant, and it don't fucking matter. It's not illegal, but fucking role playing it is illegal. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. What the fuck here? Are you fucking your cousin or something?
they are hammering in on art and just artists in general, and they are censoring them. They are throwing them in jail. This is a pure example of that. So let's read this official statement that broke this news story earlier this morning. So, good afternoon, Bun Buns. Sincere apologies for the absence. Mimi has a long story to tell. On Monday, April 20th, Mimi was arrested by the
Yeah, this
UK
is
police
sad.
for possession
A little
of her
bit.
artwork and her artwork alone. She's currently on bail pending the outcome of a criminal investigation into her accounts and activities. All of her devices were seized as a result of the arrest. As a result of her bail conditions, Mimi has to
Yeah,
move to a new account and is required to use a header name
they
on her
don't do
new
that
account
shit.
that her bail officers have agreed to. The account in question is Mimi Yabai. Per her bail conditions, her activities for the foreseeable future have to be both safe for work and fully transparent. And
Well, I don't mind that. It feel like they're just honestly they are extremely against freedom of speech. As much as like Keir Starmer wants to say, "Oh, we're not censoring or we're not like taking away people's freedom of speech," they 100% are. This law though was put into place before Keir Starmer was even in office, so he's not responsible for this one. But I'm like, Shippy here is not wrong. They really should have higher priorities rather than like a fucking drawing. They really should have higher priorities. But they don't care. They got upset because, oh, somebody made a drawing. Well, fucking arrest them. Go find them, arrest them. Somebody actually commits an actual rape crime in an alley. It'd be fine. We'll catch them later. That shit just fucking I will say it grinds my gears. But hey, right now it's not the U.S., so it could be worse. It could be the U.S.
order to prevent a breach of her bail conditions.
I wish her
Mimi
the best of luck.
apologizes sincerely from the bottom of her heart for letting all of you down and for disappointing you in such a way. Now, a
Didn't
few
disappoint
hours after
anybody
this
really,
post was
other than the
made, this
government.
account went private and she changed her actual name to her real legal name, from my understanding, because of the UK forcing her to do this. Now, I do want to reiterate something about this little statement from Mimi before I get into showcasing her VTubing model. In this statement, she points out her bail conditions that for the foreseeable future, she cannot draw anything that's outside of safe for work. It needs to be fully transparent, and it cannot be anything outside of SFW, which basically means that any form of NSFW content that Mimi was to draw and have would basically break her bail. That means if she was to do like a tall, like giant woman with great assets, that would break her bail conditions. That's at the very least the way this statement is described from Mimi
Yep.
herself, this VTuber.
It's because they see her as by the law they see her as a pedophile, even though unless she got actual CP on her any of her devices, and I mean real CP of real children, she's technically not by U.S. standards, and by my standards, she's really not. If she's Yeah, she draw weird things. She draw weird things. Like I've heard that I've seen some tweets saying she draws like bestiality, which ugh, that's kind of really nasty. I say kind of, but I actually just mean that's really fucking nasty. But hey, To each their own. If that's what you're into, as long as you're not doing it in real life, I don't really care. Because when it comes to, like, if you're harming an animal or an actual kid, yeah, I have a problem with that. Anyone that actually touches a child like that, or has like actual CP of real children, you should either be put on death row or life in prison. That's my views. As for like anime and all that, I'll just give my opinion on this. If you have a lolly on your phone, or like any like lolly not safe for work content, I don't think you should face CP charges. I don't think you should face any like charges at all. I'd say if you're caught with it on your phone, at best, that they should be able to, without notifying you, be able to search your devices to make sure you're not actually having actual child content, actual CP on any of your devices. And if you have no actual CP on your devices, then you're not, I wouldn't say cleared, but you're good for now. That they'll probably come back and check again later. Is that an invasion of privacy? Yes. But if I was to say a middle ground, I'm like, that's not a bad middle ground. As long as they're like not doing anything fucked up.
What would happen? That she straight up just, basically, if you're an artist that draws adult content, you will be arrested. That is basically what this is suggesting here. Now, let's shift over into what her actual model looks like. Now, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Her model is obviously the Loli body type. I'm just going to be honest here. And I know there's a lot of people out there that find this very icky, disgusting, shouldn't exist. Fine.
I find it icky and disgusting. Yes, I think it shouldn't exist. But I'm not going to tell somebody what they can and cannot do, as that is their right under freedom of speech, freedom of expression, not freedom of speech. Well, actually, I think it is freedom of speech. Under artistic freedom, I think it is, or something like that. Artistic freedom of expression or some shit. No, I find this to be disgusting, but at the same time, nobody's actually hurt. If you like this shit, I'm like, fine. Like, I don't. Just like keep that shit away from me. I'm like, but as long as you're not hurting any kids, I got no problem with you. If I find out you're hurting kids or anything like that, I'm turning your ass into the police.
You can have whatever opinion you want, but I want to say this once again. First off, as I already said, breaking her bail conditions, any type of NSFW that's not safe for work would get her arrested. That means not even the Loli body type, just any body type would get her arrested. Secondly, I would also like to point out that this is just a fictional design. This is not a real person. This is a drawing, a model, so to speak. And what this means is that any type of VTuber or artist that has...
I just noticed they have her underwear there. That's, yeah, I really didn't want to see that.
Any remotely suggestive content most likely will end up in the exact same position. Even if you're not, let's say, doing a Loli body type, you will probably get arrested just for having anything suggestive at all. And this also brings into stuff like another very popular VTuber that a lot of people recognize, Saba. She's a very well-known,
I love Saba. Saba's been on a hiatus for a little bit. I don't know if she's okay. I hope she is. But Saba's, like, it's an amazing character. Very cute character model, and she's kind of funny.
Recognized VTuber, and the fact that she has a very similar body type as well, she probably would be laser focused by these type of laws within the UK as well, which is horrifying, because the UK would rather address artists and VTubers than actually focus on real problems, and let's actually address that. So, right now within the UK, there is rampant rape gangs going on that's not being handled whatsoever by the UK government. We have actual legal cousin marriage within the UK, by the way, but here's the catch, and the reason why I'm even pointing that out. They made it illegal to draw or write about incest content within a fictional story. That means stuff like Game of Thrones would be banned and deemed illegal in the UK. But, as I said, they allow real cousin marriage within the UK. And they even made a statement on this back at the beginning of 2025, basically shutting down the banning of it. So they are very pro-cousin marriage within the UK, but they're going heavy at artwork. They're going heavy at artists and VTubers and fictional content, but they're allowing actual crimes
It's
and
because they want to
criminals to get
push
away with things
propaganda, I'm
within the
sure.
country. You can kind of see how ass backwards this entire situation is. So what I'm trying to address here is
I
that
mean,
even if you
I mean,
dislike
do I have
Mimi's
to say
design here, you
anything?
do not like
Stommer.
what this design is and what it stands for or anything like that, the point here is that because of her Bell conditions that has been stated, it's implying that any form of NSFW will get you arrested. That is
100%. That's 100% what happened. They've deemed her as a predator, and that she is not to draw anything in not safe for work. But she can draw because that's probably her way of making money. So they don't want to take away her form of way making money. So she only could do safe for work, and or maybe they figured it'd be wrong to take away her right to draw. Just make it where she can't draw anything not safe for work. And if she's caught doing that, she breaks her bail or break whatever the fuck and break her bond, and then she goes back to jail, which then she's gonna be facing more serious charges for breaking that. I don't think she should be facing charges at all, but again, like, hey, UK's like a fucking dictatorship, man. What are you gonna fucking do?
at the very least a narrative that is being showcased here and slowly being pushed, and this is actually scary. I mean, it's very believable, honestly, and the reason why this is very believable is because we have seen people have their the police officers show up at their door, knocking on their door for a meme image, like an anime meme image. They have police officers showing up at their door, threatening them with arrest. Hell, there was a propaganda game that you saw a lot of content creators talk about. I know Asmongold, he even made a video on it playing it a few months back. The UK had a propaganda game to where if you were to share a funny meme or link or whatever, you could become a criminal. It's very clear what the UK is doing. They are legitimately becoming, like, honestly, an authoritarian government that is completely strangleholding the actual free speech and people within the country from...
They also talked about not doing a vote. They actually talked about that. Saying, like, because, like, there's so many people against us, we're considering not doing a vote this time, like, this when re-election comes around. I'm like, so you're switching to dictatorship. So you're like, I'm going to skip the vote this year, and then when the next election comes, you're like, we're going to skip it again. Yeah, that's called a dictatorship.
Being able to do anything they want, and that's exactly what's happening here. So I would like to make sure everybody's on the same page here. Even if you don't like Mimi's VTuber model, you hate it, whatever, you're against it,
it's nasty.
This is not stopping at that. The fact that she's implying the bail bond is saying it's for all NSFW, that is scary. Everything will be hit then. Every little VTuber around in the UK will be hit by this. And judging by what we've already seen with prior stuff that has just been case in point, this will probably stretch into the EU eventually. So, keep that in mind. Yes. And it'll probably go into the AU, aka Australia, too. So, this is...
I think it will eventually try to hit the US. And then it's going to fall to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court's going to allow it or not. I have no idea. I would not doubt the Supreme Court would rule in the favor of saying, like, it should be considered CP. Because people can tend to be pretty biased. And I would say the Supreme Court would be biased on this. They would take their personal opinions into this. And I say that because that's what a lot of people do. They want to take their personal beliefs into it. But if we go by the law in the what's called the Constitution, this does fall under artistic freedom, like like freedom of expression. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't do things like revenge porn because that is illegal. That's not being done out of artistic expression or anything like that. That's being done just purely because you want revenge. Which that's the reason that's a crime. But hey, I don't know yet. Like, well, I guess we'll see. We'll see in the future if this shit's gonna end up being fucked.
Very scary. If we are to believe what Mimi is talking about, and it's everything. I believe Mimi. This is a Shimonetta reality. We have officially entered into a reality very similar to Shimonetta, to where you cannot make dirty jokes, you cannot make dirty artwork, nothing like that. It is straight up banned. It is straight up illegal. You will go to prison for this type of stuff. That is not a reality I like to see.
I
This
don't
is an
like seeing it, to
absolute
be honest
clown
with you.
show, and I cannot believe something like this happened. So, I will leave it at that. Tell me your thoughts.
I believe it was a law passed in like 2009 that you can't draw this kind of content in the UK, but I don't believe it's ever been enforced. And I believe this is like one of the rare cases where it's been enforced. And to that I say, no, you probably like if you were going to enforce it, you probably should enforce the laws like on these gangs first and try to get them taken care of before you start targeting somebody online. That's pretty fucked up. Your priorities are fucked. But hey, that's me. That's my opinion. Again, like if y'all don't agree, that's completely fine. If y'all want to have a discussion about it, we can discuss about it in the comments or in Discord. If hey, and if y'all would like me to like got any like feedback you'd like to give me, like I'm more than welcome to listen to it. I'm more than willing to listen to it. Uh, also, would y'all any of y'all like to see me actually make a Discord for people like to jump in and like so we can have talks, debates and shit like that? Cause something I've considered recently. But that's gonna be all for this video. Sorry it took so long, and I hope y'all have a great day.